How Dubai creates water in the desert. This city should be thirsty. Very thirsty. Dubai receives almost no rainfall. There are no major rivers, no mountain reservoirs, no natural freshwater lakes. And yet somehow millions of people here shower every day. Hotels run enormous swimming pools. Fountains dance in the middle of the desert. Golf courses stay green. Skyscrapers stay cool. And one of the fastest growing cities on Earth continues expanding. So where does all the water come from? Because unlike most cities, Dubai doesn't simply collect water. It manufactures it. Every glass of water here is part of a massive hidden infrastructure system. A system involving desalination plants, pipelines, electricity grids, cooling systems, underground reservoirs, global energy markets, and billions of dollars of engineering, a giant industrial machine built to overcome one simple problem. Humans need water, and deserts don't provide much of it. But Dubai may be attempting something extraordinary. Not just surviving in the desert, but engineering an entirely new relationship with nature itself. The question is, how long can that system last? The basic problem. To understand Dubai's water system, we first need to understand the scale of the problem. Dubai exists in one of the driest regions on Earth. Rainfall here is extremely limited. Some years, large portions of the region receive almost no meaningful precipitation. And unlike cities built around rivers, Dubai has no major freshwater source naturally supporting millions of residents. Historically, communities here depended on wells, groundwater trade, and careful conservation water-shaped survival. Settlements stayed relatively small because the environment imposed limits. But modern Dubai changed the equation. Population exploded. Tourism expanded. Construction accelerated. And suddenly, the city needed enormous amounts of water. Not just for drinking, but for cooling systems, sanitation, hotels, landscaping industry, malls, fountains, cleaning, and urban life itself. Modern megacities consume staggering amounts of water. And in Dubai, water demand became deeply tied to economic growth. Because the more the city expanded, the more water it needed to sustain that expansion. Which created a difficult reality. Dubai could either limit growth or engineer its way around geography. It chose engineering. The ocean solution. Dubai solved its water problem using the sea. Specifically, desalination. Desalination is the process of removing salt from seawater to produce fresh water. Simple idea. Extremely difficult at scale. Because oceans contain enormous amounts of salt. And separating freshwater from seawater requires massive industrial infrastructure. There are multiple ways to desalinate water. Historically, Gulf countries relied heavily on thermal desalination, essentially boiling seawater and condensing the vapor. But modern systems increasingly use reverse osmosis, a process where seawater is forced through specialized membranes under intense pressure. Salt stays behind. Fresh water passes through. It sounds elegant, but there's a catch. Pressure requires energy. A lot of energy. Meaning water and electricity become deeply interconnected systems. In Dubai, producing fresh water often depends on massive power generation infrastructure, which means every glass of water also contains hidden energy. This creates one of the most important hidden relationships in modern desert cities. Water infrastructure and energy infrastructure are often inseparable. If power fails, water production can fail, which means resilience becomes critical. Because unlike naturally water-rich regions, Dubai cannot simply wait for rainfall. Its water system must continuously operate. Every day. At enormous scale. The cost of making water. Desalination works. But it comes with trade-offs, big ones. The first is energy consumption. Producing fresh water from seawater requires significant electricity. And historically, much of that electricity came from fossil fuels. meaning water production itself can become carbon-intensive. This creates a hidden feedback loop. Hot climate increases cooling demand. Cooling demand increases electricity demand. Electricity supports desalination. Desalination produces water. Water supports urban growth. Urban growth increases cooling demand. And the cycle continues. Dubai operates inside an interconnected infrastructure ecosystem. And every system affects every other system. The second challenge is economics. Desalination infrastructure is expensive. Plants cost billions. Pipelines require maintenance. Energy costs fluctuate. Water distribution systems require constant monitoring. Meaning water in desert megacities is not simply a natural resource. It's an industrial product, manufactured through infrastructure. And infrastructure always requires investment. Then there's another question. How much water should a desert city actually use? Because modern urban lifestyles dramatically increase consumption, hotels, tourism, landscaping, luxury developments, artificial lakes, water-intensive architecture. Cities often shape behavior. And when water becomes easily accessible, people stop thinking about scarcity. That may be one of infrastructure's greatest paradoxes. The better systems work, the more invisible resource limitations become. The hidden pipe network. Most people never think about where city water actually travels. Because successful infrastructure disappears. You open a tap. Water appears simple. But beneath Dubai lies a massive hidden network: pipes, pumps, storage systems, pressure controls, monitoring systems, treatment infrastructure, underground reservoirs, all designed to move water continuously across a sprawling urban landscape. Water systems are fundamentally transportation systems. The goal is not just producing water. It's moving it reliably across hotels, homes, airports, factories, cooling systems, and millions of people. And because Dubai is still growing, these systems must constantly expand. New developments require new pipelines. New towers increase pressure demands. Population growth increases storage requirements. Infrastructure must evolve alongside the city itself. And unlike roads or skyscrapers, most water infrastructure remains hidden underground. Which means many people underestimate how much engineering modern cities require just to function normally. Infrastructure is often most impressive when nobody notices it. The green city illusion. Dubai often looks surprisingly green, especially compared to the surrounding desert. But greenery in arid climates comes with a hidden cost: water. Lots of it. Landscaping changes how cities feel psychologically. Trees create shade. Grass signals comfort. Greenery creates the perception of abundance. But in desert environments, abundance is often engineered, not natural. Many desert cities irrigate heavily during nighttime hours to reduce evaporation. Because daytime heat can quickly waste enormous amounts of water. This reveals another hidden truth about sustainability. Efficiency is often invisible. The most sustainable systems are not necessarily the most futuristic. Sometimes they are simply the systems that waste less. Dubai increasingly uses treated wastewater for irrigation, which reduces pressure on freshwater supplies. And this is important, because future cities may depend heavily on circular systems. Systems where resources are reused instead of constantly discarded. Water recycling, energy recovery, waste reduction. Efficiency may become one of the defining infrastructure challenges of the 21st century, especially in regions facing climate stress. The energy connection. Dubai's water story is really an energy story. Because without electricity, modern desert life becomes extremely difficult. Electricity powers desalination pumping systems, cooling infrastructure, treatment facilities, digital monitoring systems, and as temperatures rise, energy demand rises too. This creates what engineers sometimes call peak demand problems. During extremely hot periods, millions of air conditioners operate simultaneously. Power usage spikes, and utilities must maintain stable supply under intense pressure, which is why energy resilience matters so much in Gulf cities. Because energy failure can quickly become water failure, and water failure can quickly become urban crisis. Dubai has increasingly invested in renewable energy, especially solar, which makes sense. Deserts receive enormous sunlight, and future desalination systems may increasingly rely on renewable power. But transitioning infrastructure systems takes time. Cities cannot simply shut down old systems overnight. Infrastructure evolves gradually, layer by layer, generation by generation. What happens if the system fails? Modern cities often feel permanent, stable, reliable. But infrastructure systems are more fragile than they appear, especially highly engineered systems. Because complex systems depend on constant maintenance. Water systems can face power disruptions, equipment failures, cyber threats, contamination risks, climate stress, population pressure, and in regions with limited natural freshwater, redundancy becomes extremely important. That's why cities build emergency reserves, backup systems, storage facilities, interconnected infrastructure, because resilience may ultimately matter more than efficiency alone. Climate change may further complicate this equation. Higher temperatures increase cooling demand. Population growth increases consumption. Sea level changes may affect coastal infrastructure. And energy transitions reshape how utilities operate, meaning future infrastructure planning becomes increasingly difficult. Cities must prepare for uncertainty, and uncertainty is expensive. The global water future. Dubai is not alone. Around the world, cities are facing growing water pressure, population growth, climate variability, urban expansion, aging infrastructure, and increasing demand, which means technologies once considered extreme may become increasingly common. Desalination, water recycling, smart utility systems, atmospheric water harvesting, advanced irrigation. Future cities may need entirely new approaches to resource management. The cities that thrive in the future may not necessarily be the richest. They may be the most resource efficient, the most adaptable, the most resilient, and perhaps the most aware of their environmental limits. Because every civilization ultimately depends on hidden systems. And water may be the most important hidden system of all. The real lesson of Dubai. Dubai is often described as a city built from ambition. And that's true. But ambition alone does not create water. Infrastructure does. Engineering does. Energy systems do. Maintenance does. Planning does. Every glass of water in Dubai represents an enormous industrial process. A hidden network operating continuously beneath the surface of everyday life. And maybe that's the most fascinating part of modern cities. The systems keeping them alive are usually invisible. The pipes underground, the pumping stations beyond the skyline, the desalination plants along the coast, the workers maintaining infrastructure through the night, the energy systems powering it all. Modern civilization often feels effortless, but effortless experiences usually depend on extraordinary systems. Dubai simply makes those systems easier to see. Because when you build a megacity in the desert, nothing can be taken for granted. Not water, not energy, not sustainability, and not the future itself. The real question may not be whether humans can engineer cities in extreme environments. Clearly we can. The real question is whether future cities can become efficient enough, sustainable enough, and resilient enough to keep those systems running for generations. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the hidden systems powering modern cities, subscribe to Hidden Economics for more documentaries on infrastructure, sustainability, urban efficiency, logistics, and the invisible economics shaping our world. Because the future of civilization depends on systems most people never see. Before we go, kindly leave a comment on which topic you prefer me to talk on next. Is IT the infrastructure keeping Dubai cool? Why Dubai became a global logistics empire? Or the true cost of Palm Jumeirah? Let me hear it in the comment section.